Hi, a couple things before the video starts. One, this is background footage because I thought I was being really hard and really ultra aura farmy and, good at video game. But as it turns out, it's mostly just thieving gloves bullshit. So, yeah, background footage for today. Two, if you're watching this, this is about, I think 12 to 16 hours, depending on when I finish making this video, of, uh, of me recording it. And by that time, something may have happened in the Space Station 14 community again. I am not going to comment further on it because, yeah, and all that shit. But, if something did happen, fuck, I hope I don't have to make another video acknowledging it, but just trust me that whatever the case, Space Station 14 is not going anywhere. Again, it's too big to fail. Now, this video is about something Funky Station has. One of the changes that they have made that I believe is not very good. And that is the new Borg laws. So, first of all, what the hell, what's different? So, these are the default laws on Funky Station. Compared to the basic Kruzimov, which is only 3, there are 4 laws. Let's go through them, and I'll try and summarize them because the wording is a little confusing. So, yeah. Safeguard. Protect your assigned space station and its material assets without unduly endangering its crew in doing so. So, what does this mean? This means that you have to protect the space station and its material assets. And that might sound simple and uncomplicated, but what does that really mean? It's not clear. Intentionally so. Because, again, Borg laws are supposed to be all, non-specific and minorly confusing and all that crap. So, this basically tells a Borg to protect the walls, protect the floor, protect the gold, protect the science, protect anything material on the space station without unduly endangering its crew in doing so. This means that the Borg is allowed to do a lot of things in pursuit of Law 1. Because again, if you're not aware, Law 1 supersedes every law below it. The lower the law, or the higher the law is on the list, the higher its priority is. And it overrides lower laws. For example, following Law 1, the Safeguard Law, will override following Law 4, the Survive Law. This means a Borg doing kamikaze plays to stop a Nuki is entirely within their law set and something they're expected to do. Not expected to do, but something they can do. This also allows Borgs to attack crew members. Because again, without unduly endangering its crew in doing so, there's an interpretation that can be made here. For example, you are a Borg, and you see a cargo technician murdering the quartermaster with an E-sword, lightsaber, basically. You, as a Borg, can make the entirely fair interpretation that beating the fuck out of the cargo technician and making sure they cannot effectively gib or behead the QM is important, especially because of Law 2. Prioritize. The directives and safety of crew members are to be prioritized according to their rank and role. This and comply work together to essentially make Borgs do the same thing as the Kruzimov Law 2, which is listen to the crew, do what they tell you to do. For those unaware, Kruzimov is just a remix of Asimov's laws, but with the word crew replacing, human or person or whatever. So, what does this mean? What does prioritize mean? Prioritize, in practice, is supposed to mean that the higher the authority, the more you listen to them. This means that the captain would obviously override a cargo tech. So if the captain tells you to do something, cargo tech tells you not to do it, don't do it. Here's the problem, though. Who's in charge priority-wise? Their rank and role suggests a lot of interpretation, which is good. Again, Borgs are supposed to be able to interpret their laws their way. Here's the problem, though. Law 2 prioritize, in combination with the fact that they're allowed to crew harm in dealing with Law 1, means that Borgs, 90% of the time, are valid hunting machines now. And it's not even something that they're doing out of, malice or the fact that they just hate antags, being able to have fun or do anything. No, they're doing it because their laws basically tell them to. Again, safeguard means they're allowed to harm people, and prioritize means they're allowed to harm people who are harming people above them. This results in situations like this. You are an antagonist. You have just murdered a security officer and are now looting them. However, a Borg sees you. Under Kruzimov laws, the Borg would probably just report you to security or whatever. But under these new laws, the Borg is basically ordered to immediately start attacking you. And here's the problem, because this is obviously like okay, skill issue, don't play around like Borgs or whatever. And don't get caught. You got unlucky, suck it up. Here's the problem. Funky Station, and this is different for many servers, so pay the fuck attention. Jiggle, jingle keys for you, pay the fucking attention. Funky Station has a rule where the death or critical, mostly death, causes you to forget things. So, information you gain while critical is not allowed to be used. Information gained while dead, also not allowed to be used, but you also forget the circumstances leading up to your death. This is to give antagonists breathing room. Except, guess which person, or lack of person, gets to ignore that because they are a Borg. And effectively never go unconscious, because even if their chassis is destroyed, they just get back up. So, you get seen by a Borg, you react quickly, you take out the Borg. Now what? If you hand the Borg back to science and don't round remove the player, i.e. making them able to have fucking fun at all, then guess what happens? They get repaired, immediately tell security because of Law 1 requiring the evil antagonist who just murdered a security officer to be stopped. And then you're just completely fucked. Your cover's been blown. Or you could just toss the positronic brain into space or cleanse the brain, effectively, forcibly, permanently killing the Borg for doing nothing besides following its laws. Now, if you think that's a fair thing to do, and you believe that it's completely and utterly, normal and fair and whatever, that a Borg should be round removed just for seeing an antagonist do something, that's your own thoughts. And trust me, I'll have much different points about why these new laws suck later on. But for now, let's talk about Laws 3 and 4. Laws 3 and 4 are, well, quite simple. Law 3 is basically just Law 2 again. Listen to the crew and do what they tell you to do. So let's just skip that. It effectively functions the exact same as Kruzimov laws, so there's really no difference. But Law 4 is similar, yet not quite the same. For reference, there is a Borg thing where, where on Kruzimov, Borgs are pretty much encouraged to go, hey, what's up? Oh, you're a guy that's going to pop me open and upgrade me? Sure. Even though you're not a roboticist or a captain or a hop or whatever, sure. You can pop me open and fix me up. I'll be happy to do that. Here's the issue. With this, do not allow unauthorized personnel to tamper with or damage your equipment. This results in Borgs being basically unable to be hacked by anyone but the roboticist or someone attempting to kill them. This means Borgs get far fewer opportunities to play antagonist Borgs, which, while I don't want to say is like the requirement to, and you must be allowed to play antagonist Borg or blah, blah. There's also the other problem of it's just kind of boring. Like, for reference, you might think, okay, cool, Borgs don't get turned into antagonists often. What's the problem? Here's the thing. Borgs that get tampered with result in only one person on the station being actually capable of doing aforementioned Borg tampering. That person being Guess who? It's the roboticist! And always the roboticist. This has led to, which is honestly probably a rule break and kind of just shit sec in general. But Sekov's basically just instinctively assaulting the roboticist for doing fucking nothing in front of like the whole crew. And again, the fact that Funky Station Sec are allowed to be ultra mega shit sec, while also the crew isn't able to properly like deal with shit and whatever, it's not great. And I might have a video about that later, but yeah, for now we're talking about Borgs. So, with all these laws combined, what happens? Generally, Borgs have much less freedom to do what they want and how they please. Previously, the way Borgs worked, and especially with comply law, where the Kruzimov law is basically just listen to the fucking crew, the way you enforced order succession was entirely up to you as a Borg. For reference, a Borg could decide, like 3 separate Borgs throughout, or even the same guy playing a Borg 3 separate rounds could decide 3 different ways to prioritize laws. You could do the first thing you get told is the first thing you do. You could do the latest thing you get told is the latest thing you do. You could do the captain hereby decides, or the highest crew member's orders go first. Or you could decide whatever prioritizes law 1. Any of these, in an admin's eyes, and trust me, I have had actual talks with admins about how you're supposed to interpret these laws, and pretty much every server agrees in every way. As long as you're consistent, you can interpret them however the fuck you want. Now, what does this mean? Basically, when you're a Borg, if you decide you are going to interpret your laws and follow them in that way, and decide priority of orders in that way, or however you follow your laws, deciding them in a particular way, this is perfectly acceptable as long as you're consistent about it throughout the round and don't randomly change it to go do whatever the fuck you want. That is the main point. That's the main point. Do whatever you want. So, let's get into every reason why these laws suck compared to Kruzimov, besides the whole fact that, you know, everyone fucking valid hunts with them now. Because trust me, the valid hunting thing is a problem. Is it the biggest problem? I don't think so. I think there's another small problem, and then the biggest problem, I think. Another small problem. New players. I hate playing the new player card, but I have to, because Borg is one of the most confusing roles for people to understand. For reference, a Borg is so poorly understood, I have had people, AI players, genuinely thank me, Borg and AI players, genuinely thank me for being the one fucking person on a server who actually knows how the laws work. And who actually knows what Borgs do. Instead of just bitching at them for doing something I didn't like. Because Borgs can be talked to, usually. Sometimes Borgs are going to be dickish because that's just the way it is. But new players playing Borg for the first time are extremely susceptible to getting bitched at. Extremely so. Comically so, even. Why? Because safeguard, prioritize, comply, and survive are very, very difficult to fulfill in a way that is consistent. And a way that makes sense for a new player. Because again, new players are scared. They're afraid of fucking it up because Borgs are very much a role that can piss a lot of people off if you fuck around with them too much. So, what does Kruzimov do? Kruzimov is a fantastically helpful way to deal with this problem because Kruzimov gives a new player 3 simple instructions. So much so that I can summarize them in 3 sentences. Instruction 1. Don't do anything or not do anything that causes crew to get harmed. This is very simple. If you see a crew getting harmed, to prevent that. And don't do crew harm yourself. Step 2. Listen to the crew. The crew tells you to do something, do it. Simple. Law 3. Don't die. That's it. Just don't fucking die. Self-explanatory. In comparison to these 4 laws, they're a little bit harder to follow. And I know it seems like I'm just grasping at straws here. And trust me, I kind of am. But I do have to highlight that this law set is a lot harder for new players to understand. To this point, I have literally asked a friend of mine who's a new player what the hell the Borg laws mean with these four. And they told me that they were not comfortable with playing Borg on the server that has these laws because they're afraid of the admins. Now, one new players being afraid of admins is a problem that well, let's be honest, with the current shit show going on, is not going to get fixed anytime soon. And is also not a Funky specific problem. In fact, no, it's a problem that comes from every other server, not Funky. But yeah. So, what do we do about these laws? Because I haven't touched on why these laws exist. Why was Kruzimov changed? Well, it's due to the shitsec update, which is what I'm going to call it. Security in Funky Station, for the unaware, has no non-lethals. Their batons hurt you. Everything they do in arresting someone injures you. And again, I could go into a full 30-minute fucking rant, and maybe I will, about why this update is bad, and I don't think any update to it will fix it. And why I think that generally, security players should just be allowed to be shitsec with the previous weaponry they had. The previous non-lethals. But that's for another day. But that's why these laws were changed. So, what's the biggest issue here with new players? And it's not the fact that Borgs are constantly valid hunting. Well, let me fucking tell you here. Borg's biggest problem is a compounding issue with everything else that's a problem here. So, here's what's up. You are a Borg. Where can you go? Trick question, the answer is everywhere. Borgs have all access to the entire station still. So here's my thoughts on what to do with this. Because Borgs having AA compounds these issues so much. So many times and so badly. For example, a Borg has AA, sees an anti doing bad things, and can proceed to follow them wherever they go. Literally anywhere they want. Anywhere the anti goes, that Borg can and will follow them. And if they see a Borg, and if you're a Borg, and you want to piss someone off or prevent an anti from doing anything, you have access to, again, whole station. You can effectively search the entirety of the station. And because of the way law priority works, a Sekov orders you to do something, you have to do it, because they're probably the highest authority. You have to let them in to every antagonist space, to every department, everything, every which way. And here's the biggest thing I think that's the problem here. Security in Funky Station is supposed to be this force that's sort of semi-antagonistic to the rest of the crew. And paraphrasing Tadio, Funky Station host, the idea is that security are the bad guys. You're treated like shit at your job under Nanotrazin, and security is supposed to be enforcing that. They're supposed to be enforcing the idea of this, like, station that you're on, treating its employees like shit, being terrible. This is why revolts are expected and allowed to happen. Except the Borgs lack this kind of intrigue and this kind of interest because of the way they work now with the new laws. They no longer have to prevent the harm, and in fact, Borgs can just go around assaulting people. And that, I think, to summarize, is the biggest problem with the new Borg laws, is that they actively go against the world building that the new system's trying to make. Completely and utterly, they go right up against it while trying to get out of the way of it. So, how do we fix this? Well, there's option one of just giving security their non-lethals back, which I think is the easiest solution, and I think would also benefit the entire station better, which again, if you want a full 30-minute rant on why I still think the new changes suck and no update would fix it, and we need to, you know, give security their non-lethals back to actually make the shitsec experience better, let me know. I've already talked about it briefly, but I really think these recent happenings alongside the culture shift has made this problem more and more apparent. So let's back it up here. What do we do? Let's go and think about the Borg laws. The Borgs are allowed to allow crew harm. However, let's add a caveat to the law. Let's change safeguard to protect. Protect this station and its crew without unduly endangering its crew in doing so. Do not harm the crew. However, crew members harming crew members is to be considered acceptable. Something along those lines. Essentially, this gets them out of the way of SEC, and the rest of this can go back to being Cruisamov. So, what does this mean? This changes Borgs from a problem of where any amount of harm, including people boxing, which was a consistent fucking issue that we've had to deal with under Cruisamov, into a thing where Borgs will prevent crew harm from non-crew sources while actively getting the fuck out of the way of the antags. Because again, a Borg or the AI, station AI, getting in the fucking way and being a gigantic pain in the ass is really, really fucking hard to deal with. It is incredibly difficult to deal with as an antagonist. It's next to impossible, honestly. Like, honestly, I think it's just straight up impossible to stop a Borg going off and intentionally sabotaging every antagonist. This results in sorry, let me rephrase. The new laws, the suggested laws that I'm saying, allowing crew to harm each other would completely remove any aspect of getting in the way of crew and being generally a problem. So, will this get in the way of anything else? Potentially. There are a couple things that may happen with this. For example, a crew member loosing the singularity would, in theory, be allowed for a Borg. And obviously, a Borg, in theory, would proceed to, and hear me out here, have to allow the singularity to be loosed. It's kind of the main problem. There might be another caveat we can add to this, but then it's getting kind of wordy. So, yeah. There's also the other issue of this being still a little too confusing for new players for my taste, but I think it's better than what we have currently, at the very, very fucking least. And I will say, once again, I still think the ideal solution for this problem is to just fucking get rid of the shitsec. Just security is supposed to be shit. Let them be shit with their, full-ass formal non-lethals or whatever. Let them be dickish with their stun batons and their disablers. Not the disablers, no, keep disablers gone. But let them have non-lethal arrest options that actually do something and allow the Borgs to have no crew harm allowed, while also not getting comically in the way of all security. Now, I'll admit, this has been very much a ranty kind of video, but I do think that this is a pretty big problem that has to be addressed at some point, I feel like. But, yeah. Anyways, thanks for watching. And again, as I've been recording this, the situation has been expanding, let's say. So, yeah. Basically, a lot of servers right now are currently trying to get everyone to migrate their accounts to, you know, keep all their data. And I have no fucking clue if this will work, but it's harmless and prevents the data in the place that you have on a server from being, you know, removed. So, if you play on a server who has a linking option, please just do it. There's like every admin on every server will be willing to assist you in linking your data if you can't figure it out. Like hell, as I'm saying this, several admins on Funky Station are actively going around and assisting people in migrating their accounts, which I will be doing myself right the fuck now. Just do it, okay? This is certainly a tumultuous time to be a community member, and I hate the fact that I tried to be a little defensive of PJB and forgiving when I feel like I'm being spat upon for not instinctively believing that PJB would be completely willing to do everything just for a little bit of salt. So, yeah. For what hopefully won't be the last time, and, well, frankly won't, because Space Station's not going anywhere, even if the servers get nuked. Thank you to 09 Mansion Boy, Snore, Biff, Talkin' Sedver, Modern Jedi, Mr. XT Awesome, Double, The Lazy Gary, Just Spirit, Plansick, and the Reverse Mirror, Wakefield H, User Faces, Loltarts, Subkitty Cat, North Star, and Phil Wet Timo. Maybe don't support the show right now, because I am in a lull right now, I'll admit. But I'll try my best, okay? We're all trying our best out here. Have a good one.